Today is a landmark in India's nuclear weapons program. India's strategic strike submarine INS Arihant has carried out successful launch of a ballistic missile. The Defence Ministry has confirmed this. The missile was tested to a predetermined range and it impacted the target area in the Bay of Bengal with high accuracy, validating all operational and technological parameters, it said. Well, the successful user training launch of the submarine-launched ballistic missile by INS Arihant is significant to prove crew competency and validate, or perhaps to even take forward, India's nuclear program. It's a key element for India's nuclear deterrence capability, according to the Defence Ministry. Well, the government has actually gone ahead and said a robust, survivable and assured retaliatory capability is in keeping with India's policy to have credible minimum deterrence that underpins its no first use commitment. Well, that's been India's stand, no first use of nuclear weapons. Today, of course, marks a landmark for India's nuclear weapons program. It's the strategic strike submarine INS Arihant that has carried out successful launch of a ballistic missile, according to the Defence Ministry. Now, the missile was tested to a predetermined range and it impacted the targeted area in the Bay of Bengal. There was high accuracy reported and all the operational and technological parameters in this particular operation was absolutely successful. A very important day for India per se. Now, this is landmark in several ways. The INS Arihant, let me repeat what we have reported till now, that the strategic strike submarine INS Arihant has carried out successful launch of a ballistic missile. Well, joining us right now is Vishnu Som. Vishnu, landmark for India.
All right. Well, let me explain, what this is all about. Now, in very simple terms, this is one of the most important developments in India's indigenous weapons development program. And it's certainly a red letter day as far as our nuclear weapons program is concerned. The test of a submarine-launched ballistic missile is ultimately what the naval leg of our nuclear deterrent is all about. For several decades, India has been building ballistic missile submarines. In other words, nuclear submarines of the Arihant class, which are fitted with an Indian-made nuclear reactor. But the goal of these submarines is essentially to have the ability of firing a missile similar to what you're seeing over there. This is the K-15 missile. It's not necessarily what was tested earlier. But the picture that you actually see is of a missile which was tested earlier in 2014, 2015 from a pontoon. It wasn't actually tested from a submarine. What has taken place now is that one of the Arihant class submarines, presumably the first of the class, INS Arihant, and you can see a picture, which we've downloaded from Google Earth. And this particular submarine was out in the Bay of Bengal. It was submerged and it was able to successfully launch a ballistic missile which struck a target with accuracy in the Bay of Bengal. But this is the most classified and certainly one of the most classified aspects of any nuclear, of our military program, not just nuclear, non-nuclear as well. So there are lots of things which they haven't told us. For example, was the missile a missile called the K-15, which was tested and which is similar to what you actually see on your screens a few moments back? Or was it in fact a missile called the K-4? Because the K-15 missile is believed to have a range of about 750 odd kilometers. In other words, it is essentially effective to hit targets in Pakistan if the submarine was deployed in the Arabian Sea. But the other missile is the K-4 missile. The K-4 is a substantially larger missile. It has a range of 3,500 kilometers and it is designed to hit targets squarely in China. If this was successfully tested, the K-4, a lot of people believe that it was likely the K-4 which was tested. It proves that your naval nuclear deterrent is now active. That one of the three Arihant class submarines which have been built, two of them are believed to be fully operational. One of them is believed to be still testing. These submarines can be deployed in the Bay of Bengal or elsewhere where they're extremely difficult to detect, if not impossible to detect once they are underwater. and they can always have a targeting solution. So if ever there is a requirement for India to fire nuclear ballistic missiles, India retains that option. Remember, India has a nuclear triad. You've got nuclear weapons with the Air Force in the form of various missiles, whether it's ballistic missiles or even tactical nuclear bombs. You've got the Indian Army, which is also believed to be capable of firing nuclear-powered weapons, and you have got the Indian Navy as well. So it's a triad, and this is the most sophisticated part of the triad which has been tested. Decades in development, you've finally been able to test a ballistic missile which can be fitted with a nuclear warhead.